I just think, yeah, we don't know anything about this God. All-knowing and all-powerful to a citizen of North Korea, that is Kim Jong-il.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, he loves you, and he'll do all these things, and he'll take care of you, as long as you never say no to him. See, we don't know anything. And I would also argue that it's almost impossible for that sort of God. That God would, if it was worthy of worship, it wouldn't want worship.
Right.
It wouldn't bother with it. Why would a perfect being's self-esteem be so delicate that it needs sad little people like us to kiss his ass? I mean, really.
And having to listen to all those entreaties over, you know.
And even if all of us did kiss its ass, what does that really mean? If you know the kind of stupid stuff that's popular?
Yeah.
Yeah. Really, it doesn't mean anything.
Just with me, bad movies, yeah.
I mean the Macarena.
Yeah.
So,
Ann Coulter.
Ann Coulter.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah.
Sorry to bring her up again, but
Oh. Felt like something came up.
Ouch.
All right, here's another email we have. This is from DB Sum.
That's an awesome name.
That is totally a children's author name.
Yeah.
Hopefully this isn't a duplicate email. I had the comment and email fields filled out when I pressed submit anyway. Love the show, and I wanted to comment on the confusion with theist, agnostic, and atheist when the caller asked you if you would use a -1, 0, or +1 scale to place these beliefs. The answer is simply no. Agnostic is not the middle ground between theist and agnostic. I totally agree.
Yes.
Atheism, I want to say right off the bat, I agree with what this guy's saying. I'm not going to bring the ponage down on him. Atheism is the lack of beliefs in any gods. Theism is the belief in one or more gods. Gnosticism is how sure you are, if you think you know. And then he has a list here which looks a bit like the alignment list in the Dungeons & Dragons Player's Handbook. Where there's different combinations, like in D&D, you're like, oh, okay, I'm a lawful good, so let's roll my stats. Gnostic atheist, which I think disqualifies you from being a paladin.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, so basically the combinations are Gnostic.
There are some cool prestige classes associated with Gnostic atheists, though.
Yes, I think you get like +1 versus gibberish.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, Gnostic atheist, agnostic theist, and Gnostic theist. And I think it is important to talk about this stuff because
the difference between atheism and agnosticism has come up on this show and on every debate I have ever been involved with atheism, and the idea that atheism and agnosticism are on the same line and they're interrelated, and you can't be one or the other.
Like there's one scale.
Yeah.
And agnosticism is in the middle of this scale. Theism, atheism.
We love humanity loves our two valued scales. You know,
Yeah.
Coke, Pepsi, Democrat, Republican, Mike, Joel.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, very rarely do we want to move beyond just those two values.
Yeah, like there's some sort of scale, and then anyone else, it's impossible to have a value outside of the scale. It has to exist in this bichromatic rainbow. So yeah, I like
all the way.
I think it's all the way across the sky, double bichromatic rainbow.
Well, that's kind of what we're positing, really. If
Yeah.
you think about it, is what we're talking about here. Well,
We're talking about two different measurements. Let's talk about theist and atheist. I think the most important part of the word atheist is the letter A, not just because it's a logo, but because what does A mean when you put it as a prefix on a word? It means not.
well, sometimes logos are logos for a reason. The A is
Yeah.
important. Yeah.
So, I mean, you say like atypical, asymmetrical, asexual. I mean, it basically means not typical, not symmetrical, not sexual. That's what it means. It just means not. So what is a theist? A theist is somebody, like he said, who believes in one or more gods. So it just means not that. And that is a wide range of people. So when you ask the question, do you believe in one or more gods? If you say yes, you're a theist. Every other question outside of yes, every other answer you could possibly give aside from yes, including I don't know or I'm not sure, you are an atheist. I know that people don't like us tossing that around, but I do use the term pretty broadly.
Yeah.
I think it's important because you have to use it broadly or it loses meaning.
With the atheism visibility movement, again, people try to associate atheism with other ideologies and other ideas, and you know, like association with the scientific method, association with liberalism occasionally, or progressivism, depending on your flavor, association with certain ideas. But these are all they're really not atheism. They're something else.
They're independent
that
of that.
might have, in the Venn diagram, might have a lot of overlap. But they're not the same thing, and that's why I stick to this really simple this really simple definition: there is no God. Fin. End.
Boop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's kind of silly because I think what people are mixing it up with is this degree of certainty scale.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about, the Gnostic-agnostic scale, which is how certain are you? I would say it's very similar to the theist, non-theist. Do you know that there is a God? Mm-hmm. If you say yes, you're Gnostic. If you say anything including any little grain of uncertainty or any doubt anywhere, you are agnostic. And I will posit something that I'm sure is going to piss off somebody, but I will say that 99% of all sane and honest people, big H on honest here, are agnostic. That includes most theists.
Yeah.
That's what happens. That's why they fear death. That's why when they have a gun pushed in their face, or they worry about what happens to a loved one, or they face the end of their lives, they get doubts.
There's a branch, and there's an entire branch of theology associated with this, known as apologetics. I'm sure a lot of us have faced it before. Is that a lot of people seem to think apologetics are for when you discuss your religion with other religious people, and it really didn't start out that way because we didn't have the cultural crossover that we have today. The basis of apologetics was really in dealing with doubt and doubt in the religion. Somebody who may be religious or may be in the religious environment who has doubts because someone has died or because some article of faith they don't go with it anymore.
Or biblical contradiction.
Or biblical contradiction.
And I think if we really want to look at what doubt is your brain working.
Right.
And when you have people like, we talked to Gary a couple weeks ago.
Gary, hey.
Gary, yes, we're baiting you again.
Looking forward to your call.
Is that when you basically say, I'm putting a force field around my brain, no evidence-based argument can ever turn me away, you're basically turning your brain off. And theists do it a lot. I mean, they say, like, no argument can ever change my mind no matter what. But that's essentially what Gary's doing as well.
I used to be able to say that I didn't know any atheists who are willing to turn their brains off like that. But I had a conversation with one a couple of weeks ago. It was a real eye-opener in many ways for me personally.
Yeah, that he basically wants us to be, like, the dark mirror universe version of like, Ray Comfort.
I would mention the mirror mirror goatee, but I think we've had enough of that for one day.
Yes.
The thing is, though, it's weird calling somebody like Gary Gnostic, because Gnostic, again, back to terminology, Gnostic has many words, and Gnostic, the basis of the word Gnostic is really like knowledge from God. There were Gnostic Christian movements which dealt with secret knowledge and stuff like that. And then, and then on the other side, it's sort of Gnostic becomes on the atheist side knowledge against God, not from God.
Yeah, well, I guess if we're going to treat it, I think a lot of people, when they use this sort of, like we said, the bichromatic rainbow, theist, atheist, agnostic, is really that's what they're trying to say, that a lot of agnostics, who I honestly, most of the people, I would say 99% of people who call themselves agnostic are atheists.
Like we said before, I think it's possible to have a theist agnostic where they, like that scene in The Mummy,
yeah,
with the guy with the multiple religious symbols, and he just sort of rifles through them looking for the one that'll work out against the mummy. That's sort of a theist agnosticism.
And I think that just means that a theist is sane, that they have doubts about this religion, even if it's a tiny doubt, and even if it's once in a while, even if it's just once.
Okay, that's much more sensible than the one I had.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I'm saying, is that it means that your brain is still working, and that there's still moments that when you get down to it, you really don't know what happens to you after you die. You really don't know this stuff. You believe that that's the case, but you really don't know. And I think that that just means you're sane and you're honest. And I think a lot of theists, if they were truly honest about it, that they have those doubts too, and that's fine.
And I think there are occasionally certain doubts on our side of the fence as well.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely brought on by things like social pressure when you're the lone atheist in a room full of theists.
Yeah.
I know a lot about that. Hello, Arizona.
And but yeah, like you said, the 99.9999, that is still not 100.
No.
I think that most of the odds of one of these gods that people have postulated being real is incredibly silly and small. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I don't think it's incredibly likely. I could be wrong. I really could be. I just don't think I am. So I would call myself an agnostic atheist, which means that I'm not turning my brain off. If somebody calls in and just knocks it out of the park and they have this peer-reviewed paper, and it's like, oh, there, right there in the formula, that's Yahweh.
I'd like to do one more email.
Just one more email before we close out?
Yeah. I am a non-believer. Oh, this comes from Celtic King 36 from the internet. I am a non-believer, but I do from time to time indulge in the unknown void of human knowledge, so I would just like to get your opinions on this. 1, do you think that there is a source of intelligence behind all the matter and non-matter in the universe? And 2, do you think that the universe just came into existence through natural causes?
First answer, no.
Second answer, yes. Done?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
All right. As you know, that after every show, we meet at the Ram at Northgate. Let's bring that up. The Northgate Ram, we're going to be there at 4:30. It's right next to the Barnes & Noble. It's a really great restaurant. You can come and meet us, engage us in discussion, but not battle.
Yeah.
And have a beer, have a burger. And
A little bit of friendly debate, I think, is okay.
friendly debate is great, but
Yeah.
not like, spiritual warfare. You're not going to come at us with like a sword like Solomon Kane to clean out the heathens.
Yeah, you're not really compatible.
Yeah, don't
with
throw
beer and
holy
food.
water at us. Don't try to
No.
purge us in fire.
No, if we had a beach
The
party.
restaurant wouldn't like it anyway.
No, you don't, yeah.
Not cool.
No. But yeah, please come by, have a conversation with us. So 4:30 at the Ram.
So, are there any other emails that are really quick that we can add up?
Oh, man.
Yeah, we can do. Well, Carlos, we can talk. Probably, let's try to get through one of them. We'll answer
Okay.
it. He's got 2 questions in the email. Carlos in Mexico says, I want your opinion of the following issues. The other day, I had a chat with my fundamentalist friend, and he said, if you were born in India, would you believe in God? His answer was, of course. Even if I believed in India, God would find me and make me a Christian, which is a little mean to the other Indians that aren't.
There are a billion.
That's like
1.1 billion people in India. Most of
That's
them
like a
aren't
sixth of the
Christians.
population of the world.
Yeah. Why didn't God find those people?
Why does God hate India?
Yeah. Wow. Why is it causing
Maybe
the
if he had
smash
the
into Eurasia?
Maybe if he had like
that's
the
mean.
Yeah. What if he had the telephone that he's using to call those campers at the children's camp?
Oh yeah.
Seriously.
Just a simple phone call. Yeah.
I mean, clearly, anyone who's had a telemarketer knows they have telephones in India.
Okay. Well, maybe he could be calling and we just hang up on him.
Yes, it could be. Like when God calls, there's this that blank. It's like the auto dialer. You're like, oh Christ, not again.
If he'd publish his number in the phone book or on Google, then maybe
It's a lot of people to call. I mean, maybe he just did it through. Maybe if he just got on there like some sort of Charlie's Angels speaker box, just like, hello angels, hello Yahweh.
I'm certain there are people who think that happens to them.
Well, anyways, we've got just a minute left on the show. Carlos, we promise we'll get to the other half of your email someday.
Absolutely, and we've got lots and lots of emails to go through. So this is not going to be the last one of these. This is going to be a regular thing, and so please send those emails. Come askanatheist.tv or questions at askanatheist.tv. We're looking forward to hearing from you.
Absolutely. So, yes,
Yes.
more time. This is the fun of live TV.
I'm still just blanking on that whole goatee thing. That was way out of left field.
Well, that was the point. So anyways, we'll see us at the Ram, and
see
we'll
you at
be
the
there
Ram.
next week, next Sunday. Hope to see you. If it's Sunday, it's Ask an Atheist.